So in this project, you will be learning to develop a simple calculator. You will create the user interface of it as seen here, and you will be doing the event handling part and the API discussions, and we'll be doing it in a very practical manner. So this is the coding you will be learning in this project, the coding, and this will be the output. So in the output you will enter, you'll be able to enter the numbers, the user, and then the user will be able to click the plus, multiply, clear, and do the other buttons as well as exit. So we are doing this in a very practical manner. So let's see how to do it now.
Click. If it's exit button, I want to exit. If it's clear button, I want to clear, right? So because of that, I had to put some if conditions, right? So I had to put if conditions here and figure out which button is clicked. For that, I will have to do a few things now. So in this event, action event E, it's a parameter. There's a method called get action command, right? So there's a method called get action command, and that returns a string. As you can see, look here, the get action command returns a string. So what I have to do is I have to get the command, or let me do it this way. Let me do it above this. So basically e dot get action command and returns a string. As you can see it returns a string. So what I have to do is I have to store this in a string, say s1. I'm just giving example. Then you have to put if condition and compare if this s1 dot equal. So this is how you compare one string for the other. If this string is equal to whatever the caption given. So if it's buttons, for the buttons you have given, okay, if it's plus or if it's minus, multiply, divide, clear, exit. So that's what you are checking. So if it's plus, then you will write the code for the plus button. Else if that is equal to minus, you will write the code for the minus button. So this is how you do that part, right? This it may be a bit confusing for you because you are new for this, but don't get confused. So you are referring to this text plus, minus, multiply, divide, clear. So exactly you have to match to that: multiply, divide, then clear, right? Clear, and then exit. So these are the, when you say action command, it gets the text, it gets the text whatever you set to the button, right? So that's it, right? Now this is the plus button, so you write the code for plus button, right? So I will remove this. No, but let's start with exit. So if you want to exit a Java application, there's a built-in command. It's in the system class, right? So the system is a class dot, there's a method called exit, right? There's a method called exit. It's a static method. So if you don't know what is a static method, look at our small video on static methods, right? We have made a video about static, so then you will understand. So you have to call the exit method, which is static, and you have to say 0. 0 means there's no problem and it's simple exit, right? Now if you run this, it will work for the exit button but not for the others because I have not written anything. So if you run this, it's super exciting, guys, super exciting. If I put 5 and 8 plus, nothing happens. But if I click exit, see guys, what's going to happen? Wonderful, guys, wonderful. It exited, right? You should be it should be exciting for you, right? Look here, I will show you one more time. Be excited, guys, you are learning lots of things. Plus nothing happens because it's empty, you didn't do anything. But for exit, you did exit. So if I click exit, it exits. Guys, you are getting closer to become software engineers, right? You are getting closer. We are going to help you, right? So this channel is going to make you software engineers, right, who can go and work with industry. So now I want to write code for the clear button, right? So what's the code for the clear button, right? For the clear button, I need to clear the text boxes. Meaning, what are my text boxes? My text box is txt number 1, txt number 2, txt answer. So I had to refer to the text box txt number 1. I had to refer to it and say if it's clear. On that I have to clear. So there should be some method like, for now just think, there should be some method like clear, right? I will tell you it's not clear. I'm just telling you, right? I'm just telling you because I want to show you something, right? So just assume there's a method called clear, right? So then you want to say, okay, txt number 1 clear, okay, txt number 2 clear, right? If the method is clear, right? But the method is not clear, I will tell you it's different method. Let's do it this way first for you to understand, guys. right? So now when you clear, it won't clear. But one thing, let's see, it says cannot find symbol, first thing, for txt number 1. That means it can't refer to txt number 1. Why can't it refer to txt number 1? If you look carefully, the txt number 1 is a local variable inside this method. So the txt number 1 is declared inside a method. So if you declare an object or a variable inside a method, its scope is local scope, which means you can use it only inside the method. Now this method is outside method. So this is an outside method. So the object txt number 1 is created inside create GUI method. But the create GUI method finishes from here, and this is a new method. So this new method can't access. So if you want this method to access txt number 1, txt number 2, what you have to do is you have to make this txt number 1, number 2 and number 3, you have to cut it from here and put it outside the method but inside the class here. So when you put it here, what happens is they become attributes, and attributes are accessible by any method in the class. So now these three are attributes. So attributes can be used by any method in the class. So now you can see the txt number 1, number 2, number 3 error is not there because it's working now. There's a different error. But how you do it is you have to make them attributes. So attributes are accessible by all the methods in the class. But now I'm getting another error. The error is it says cannot find symbol, but this time it says it can't find clear. If you read this error carefully, it says cannot find symbol clear. So there's no method called clear. So if you do a Google search, you will find, if you do a Google search and if you look at the API, you will find the method is not clear. The method is setText. SetText, and you have to say empty. Empty means null. Remember guys, in Java, null is a keyword to say empty. So you are telling text number 1, set the text empty, right? So this is how you clear a text box. So you are telling set the text into null, meaning whatever the data will get erased, right? So set text is you are setting the text. So let's run this and see whether it works, guys, right? So I'm going to run it and I'm going to put some, say, numbers and plus, no, not yet, because we didn't do anything. Clear. Let's assume that if you write the code 6 plus 8 is 14, just assume if 14 and see, click clear. Awesome guys, awesome. See, it got cleared. Aren't you happy, my friends? Aren't you happy, right? So if this is 10, aren't you happy? Awesome, awesome. It's working guys, it's working. Wonderful guys, wonderful. So I got the exit and the clear working. I need to write the plus button. That's also not a big task. So to make a plus, I have to get the data from txt number 1 and txt number 2. So to get the data, you have to say txt number 1. If you do a Google search and you do look at the API, you will see the method is getText. And as you see, the getText C returns a string. If you see internet, Google, a Java API, you will see the getText. So you have to store it in a string. So first of all, you have to put it in a string. Let us say a string, right? We'll say s number 1, right? String like s number 1. Yeah, s number 1, right? String number 1, right? Or let me call it as if this is s1, I would like to call this as s2. If you are okay with it, just some name, right? String s2, then s3, s4, like so, s2, s3, some name guys, some name. So this is txt number 2, this is txt answer, right? So first of all, you get the data, right? You get the data, and if you want, okay, all good, so you get. But now you know you can't add strings, so now you have to convert the string. This is basic programming guys, to convert the string into an integer. For that, in Java, if you do a Google search and if you look at the API, you will see there's a class called integer, and there's a static method called parseInt. If you don't know what is static, look at our video on static. For parseInt method, you have to pass a string, and as you can see, it returns a integer guys. It returns a integer, right? ParseInt. So what you have to do is say parseInt, pass your string, and it returns an integer. So parseInt, and first pass s2, your first string you want to convert, and as you saw, it returns an integer. So you have to store it in an integer variable, guys. You have to store in integer. So this is how you convert a string into a integer in Java. my friends, this is how you do it, right? So S3 is my next one. Then you got two integers, guys, so you have to add them. You can say Z is equal to, say, X plus Y, right? Now you got the answer in the Z, and you want to put that Z into the txt answer, right? You don't need S4 actually. I'm sorry, you don't need here, because you need only number 1 and number 2. Then you convert them, right? And then you add into integers and add. Now this Z integer you have to convert into a string, because you want to put it into the third text box. So that when you put it into a text box, it has to be a string as the answer once again, because that is what a text box accepts, strings. So you have to convert the Z into a string. So to convert integer into a string, if you do a Google search and if you look at Java, the method is, in the string class there's a static method called value of, right? So to the value of method, if you pass an integer, it returns a string, right? The value of method, if you look at the API, in fact you can see it here as well. String dot value of, always look at this, it always look at my mouse, it always returns a string. So you will say value of Z, and then it returns a string. So because of that, my friends, you have to store it in a string. This time we'll call it as S4, right? Now this S4 is what you have to display on your text box, txt answer. How to display a text? Look at Google, you will see the method is set text. This is the method you have to put, and you have to pass the S4. Simple as that, my friends. This will get the text from the two text box. When you click the plus button, convert them into integers, add them, then convert the result back to a string and display it. And this should work, my little friends, for the plus button, right? So let's run and see whether it works. So if I put 6 and 9 plus, boom, working. Awesome, guys, awesome, right? So it doesn't work for minus because you didn't write, right? Clear works, exit works. So I want to do the same thing for subtract, right? So if I copy this and put it, I'm duplicating a lot of code. So for example, if I copy the whole thing, I had to do a small thing, nothing much. I'd just come here, put it, I'd just say X minus Y here. That's it, right? So the same code, because I have to get the text, convert it, subtract, right? So right, and put it back. So if it's multiply, the same thing, guys, right? Copy it and put it here, but this time after converting, it's to multiply. So it's a lot of code getting duplicated. So I can avoid this duplication. I will show it to you in a little while, but it works. So if I run this now, it will work for all the buttons, right? So if I see, if I put 10 here and if I put 5 here, right? 10, 5. So plus is 15, subtract is 5, multiply is 50, divide is 2. Working, right? Awesome, my friends, awesome. But the thing is, there's some code duplication. What I can do is, this conversion part and this stuff, right? I can remove it from here and put it at the top before the if command. So then it becomes common. So when every time the button is clicked, it first get the data and converts. So then what I have to do is, inside this I have to just add them and just display, right? Add and display. So here I have to just subtract and and display, right? Subtract and display, right? So then I don't have to do this part because I did it at the top. If you saw that I moved it, and then I have to just multiply and display, right? So this part I have removed to top to the common area. So guys, I removed that slide duplication. So now every time button is clicked, it gets the action command. Not only that, it takes a string, convert, and then it checks the action command. With its plus, then it just add the numbers, convert and display. Guys, this is going to be the end of the lesson, right? So let's see whether it works now. It should work definitely. So 10 and 5. See, guys, plus, subtract, multiply. Awesome, guys, awesome. Aren't you feeling happy, my friends? Exit, clear. Oh, what happened to exit? Something happened. Let's see. I see what's happening, right? I see what's happening. Exit is giving me an error because when I click exit, it's doing that code. What code? When I click exit also, see, it's something very interesting. When I click exit also, it runs action performed and it gets the data and it tries to convert. But when it converts to a number, there's nothing because it's null. Because see, what I mean is this. Now when I run, and just imagine if I click exit, what the text boxes are empty. So when I click exit, see, it's giving me an error, right? Why is it giving me an error? I will explain it to you. When I click whatever the button I'm clicking, see, it's running the action performed, same action performed, right? So when you exit, there are no text box data, so the integer conversion gives a error. So to avoid this, what I'm going to do is you have to do something called exception handling. So I don't want you to worry about that now. I just want you to do this, right? I just want you to do this. Simply put try catch here, right? And I will explain it to you in one of our in another video in future called exception handling, right? So I don't want you to worry about this because this is not the focus of the lecture, but I will do it because otherwise you are getting an error. So you call it as exceptions, right? You got E here, that's why it's complaining, so I will say EX. So basically this part here I'm going to put here because if it's empty, it's giving an exception. That's what I I got a problem error, right? So it's giving an error. What is this? So what's happening is if there's no data, like in empty case, it will give the exception. I will explain that in another video. We'll explain. For now, just we'll just ignore it, right? We'll say we are ignoring this for now. We are ignoring this error for now, right? Or error or exception, right? We call it as we'll learn it later. You'll learn it later. Exception. So don't worry about that. Just put this code, otherwise you will not. We'll talk about that later. Basically what it does is if there's an error, it catch it and it silently ignore this because you just put a message. So if you run this now, this should work fine. Let's see whether it exits. Awesome guys, awesome, it exits. What else do you want? It's working. Aren't you feeling happy, my friends, right? So hold on. There's one more issue here. X. It's strange. It worked, but see, there's an error. There's a compile error. It should not work. It's very interesting that it worked, but as anyhow, you see, it's there's an error because why you get this error is when I put this x and y inside the try block. Uh, X and Y is going to be local only for the try block, so that you can't use X and Y here because it's local. So to avoid this, sorry guys, it's I know it's a bit too much for you. For you to avoid it, you have to first declare X and Y outside so that it's not inside the try block. Guys, it's a little too much, but this is programming. And then in the try block, you just do it this way. So don't worry a lot about that if you can't understand. So you declare, so then now they are open. You can use X and Y here, you can use X and Y here as well, right? Let's compile. Let's compile and see whether there are any errors, right? Because it should be completely error free. Successful, great, wonderful. Let's run this, my friends, right? So just exit, bang, exits, right? You should be happy, my friends. You should be happy now. I see 15 and let us say 5, 20, 10, 75, 3, clear, exit. Guys, we have reached the end of the lecture and you did learn something really great. So we will upload this code as a link underneath this video, right? And feel free to download the code and have a look at it and write this code. Most important thing is you write the code, guys. And let's look at what we covered. So we covered the practical code examples, right? And the conclusion. Let's look at the lesson plan. Yes, we finished the lesson plan, my friends. We have finished, right? So the conclusion is we learn about programming GUI event handling, right? How to program event handling, right? And we did some practicals. We did a practical, right? And our reference is Oracle Java Docs, right? So with that, we are going to end up the session, and Let's run it and feel it one more time, right? Just feel it one more time, and just to share that you can see it with the editor, right? But when you finish developing it, this is how you will see it, right? Just like this, right? Just like this, my friends, just like this, right? You should be proud of yourself, right? Because now you all are learning GUI programs. You are learning, right? Plus, right, multiply, divide, right, and clear, right? So it's awesome, right? It's awesome, and you click exit, right? That's it. So guys, let's meet with another wonderful video, and keep in mind this GUI programming is going to continue. So under Java we have a lot of lessons. GUI is one lesson, but under GUI we have sub lessons. So this is lesson number 2 in GUI. You will see lesson number 3, 4 likewise, and you will also see lessons like database programming in Java, and exception handling, threading, right? And also this channel contains a lot of other videos, lectures on machine learning, artificial intelligence, robotics, Python, R programming, lots of things if you want to become a programmer, right? So feel free to have a look at all these different other videos, playlists in this channel, and let's meet with another